André had always been passionate about cooking. Since his youth, he had been fascinated by flavors and the art of creating dishes that delighted the senses. His career as a chef grew quickly, and he was soon hired to work at a luxury restaurant in a historic city. That restaurant, with its growing fame, seemed like the perfect place for the next step in his professional life. But soon André would discover that this restaurant, so coveted and prestigious, hid secrets that would make even the bravest tremble. Do you want to know where this story goes? Before we continue, if you want to help our channel keep bringing amazing stories, give this video a like and subscribe. If you enjoy it, turn on notifications to know when new videos are released. The restaurant, called La Culinaria Negra, was famous for its exotic dishes and flawless presentations. Located in an old mansion in the most historic part of the city, the restaurant was a perfect spot for food lovers and tourists wanting to experience the best of international cuisine. For André, working there was the peak of his career. He was excited, eager to showcase his talent in such a prestigious place. At first, everything seemed perfect. The nights were filled with satisfied customers, and André was in charge of the kitchen, creating dishes that delighted the most demanding palates. But soon, he began to notice that something was not right. Small details began to bother him. The strange silence in the kitchens during the night, the peculiar behavior of the other chefs, and the way the manager, Estella, always seemed so worried. It was on a particularly busy night, during preparation for a big event, that things started to go out of control. André was preparing a special dish for a VIP client when he noticed something unsettling. While opening one of the kitchen drawers to grab his utensils, he found something unexpected, an old knife with strange engravings that he had never seen before. The knife seemed out of place, as if someone had put it there deliberately. Intrigued and unsettled, André decided to investigate. He asked the other cooks about the knife, but no one seemed to know where it came from. The most common explanation was that someone had brought it from an antiques market and used it as a decorative piece. However, the feeling of unease persisted, and the strange events started to intensify. The next night, while preparing dinner, André felt a presence behind him. When he turned around, no one was there. But when he looked into the kitchen mirror, he saw, for a brief moment, a shadowy figure reflected behind him. He thought he was starting to get paranoid, maybe due to the stress of work. But at the same time, the feeling of being watched was undeniable. The next morning, something happened that would make André doubt his own sanity. He was alone in the kitchen, washing utensils after the restaurant closed, when he heard a whisper. He stopped, trying to identify where the sound was coming from. The words were inaudible, but it seemed like someone was trying to communicate with him. A chill ran down André's spine, who couldn't understand what was happening, but felt something wasn't right. As the days went by, the incidents became more frequent. André began to notice that the behavior of the other chefs was changing. They seemed more nervous, tense, and began avoiding him. Even Estella, always so controlled, seemed to be hiding something. When he tried to confront her about the knife, she became visibly uncomfortable and avoided talking about it. It was when André decided to investigate the mansion's past that he uncovered the terrifying truth. During a research session at the local library, he discovered that the house where the restaurant was located had been the site of tragic events decades ago. The mansion was originally owned by a wealthy family that was brutally murdered by one of the servants, who was supposedly possessed by supernatural forces. Since then, the house had been abandoned for years before it was turned into a restaurant. What André didn't know was that by taking control of the kitchen at La Culinaria Negra, he had unknowingly rekindled a curse that had taken over the house. Those who worked there before him had mysteriously disappeared, and the leadership of the kitchen was known to succumb to a form of possession. The deeper André delved into the history of the restaurant, the more he began to feel the curse manifesting. The turning point in his investigation came when, one night, the most experienced chef on the team, Hugo, disappeared. He had entered the kitchen late at night to check the supplies and was never seen again. When André searched the house for Hugo, he found him in the back room, his eyes completely glazed over, as if in a trance. What he saw next was even more disturbing. Hugo was holding the same old knife, his hands covered in blood. But when André called out to him, Hugo didn't react and seemed completely unaware of his actions. Desperate, André tried to understand what was going on. He called for help from outside the city, contacting paranormal experts. When they arrived, they confirmed what André feared. The house was indeed haunted by vengeful spirits seeking retribution for the murders that took place. The old knife, which he had found in the drawer, was one of the objects linked to the curse. The spirit that took over the house was controlling the cooks, forcing them to commit violent and tragic acts. Now, with the truth revealed, André finds himself trapped in a battle against forces he cannot control. He knows the restaurant must close, but if he does, the consequences will be even worse. The vengeful spirit that now haunts him doesn't just want his soul. It wants to consume everyone who works at the restaurant, one victim at a time. Want to know more about this story and many others we still have to share? Then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Every day, a new story comes straight from our mysterious archive, filled with tales and accounts we've gathered from various sources. Cases with stories that will give you chills. Also, don't forget to share this video with that friend of yours who loves a good mystery.